Was anyone else paired with someone crazy their freshman year of college?
Why I will never live with a college roommate ever again.
I had a roommate that was literally from hell.
I have had the worst roommate on the entire planet.
I moved out and took everything.
There are some pretty girls that I have met that are literally disgusting.
It's very evident that there has been an epidemic of bad roommates. One experience many share in common is that most, if not all, people have had at least one bad roommate experience. I myself am very fortunate to have a chill one. But seriously, what is it with all these people that will willingly make your co-living experience a living nightmare? Well, fear not, everyone. I'm Kitty's Collection, and today we're gonna be looking at 5 wild roommate stories on TikTok that I've personally compiled for your enjoyment, and to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Now, this isn't gonna be a typical compilation video. I'm gonna be adding some of my own commentary at the end of each take, cause honestly, some of these stories make me think of the Who the Hell Did I Marry saga. It's just that messy. So sit down, get cozy, and let's unfold the mess of this first story. So this story is basically about how 2 roommates conspired against this poor girl. Like, they literally ambushed her. Let's watch.
I moved out and took everything. It became apparent to me that last week my roommates were trying to drive me out of the house to get one of their boyfriends on my lease. When I told them I wanted to stay, they started staging incident and messes around the house so they could yell at me for them. It all came to a head when they called a meeting with me 2 days ago. One of them had to hold the other back as she screamed at me that she hated me and I was not welcome in the building. They proceeded to tell me that I contributed nothing to the house and wasted their space, and that they had all gotten with the landlady and convinced her not to renew my lease in June. I told them I talked to the landlady, and when they said that they were the heads of the house, I laughed and went on with my day. I spoke to the landlady and they acknowledged that they were out of hand and that she had given them the power to not renew my lease. She said that I could move out whenever and not pay for a single day that I wasn't there. So yesterday, when my roommates both left to visit their family, I immediately called everyone I knew and vacated the house of everything I own. I took the curtains, the rugs, all the cat toys, and even the cat tower that I had made with my mom. I took all of their things off of my shelves and other furniture and stacked them in the middle of a now nearly empty living room. I snapped pictures of everything and handed my keys to the landlady and immediately fucked off. They won't be back to the house until tomorrow, and I've blocked them on everything, but I'm sure their faces will be priceless when they come home to a half-empty house. So much for me not contributing anything.
Whoa, okay, first off, that's a very strong start. This sounds very crazy. I feel like the 2 roommates were conspiring for like a very long time, and the fact that they orchestrated this whole conversation in the first place and had that altercation really makes me think that these people hated her and wanted her out for a very long time. Now obviously it's not fair that it happened this way. I'm glad that she had left the house, but I just wish that she would have had a little bit more backbone and kind of tried to stay, because her leaving is kind of reinforcing the idea that yeah, she deserves to leave. But those roommates honestly sound so insane, and I'm so glad that she got out of that situation. What a crazy take. Also, she's so beautiful, she doesn't need any of this. Me personally, I was paying more attention to her makeup routine than the actual story. But yeah, that's the first story wrapped up. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so this next story is about this girl who found out that her roommate was stealing her clothes and caught her red-handed. Let's watch.
I think if there's one thing that all of us girlies can collectively share in common is that most of us, if not all of us, have had a bad roommate experience. Now this goes to different extremes. Some of us have had roommates from horror stories, and some of us have maybe just had roommates that we just didn't get along with. But I'm gonna share my roommate experience. It was my freshman year of college, and I was living with 2 girls in my dorm, and one of the girls and I were really good friends for a while, and then we kind of slowly started to drift apart. And this is the roommate that I caught stealing my clothes. Yeah, we came home from Christmas break or something, and I remember searching for my Lululemon leggings, and I was searching everywhere for them. I could not find them, and I was like, man, did I leave these leggings at home? So I call my mom, and I'm like, hey mom, my Lulu's there. No, they're not here. Nowhere to be found. So I'm like, where are these Lululemon leggings? And something in me just said, look in my roommate's dirty clothes, because we did borrow each other's clothes a lot at the time, but we always asked before we borrowed. And I was just I had this gut instinct where I was just look in her dirty clothes. Maybe she borrowed them. without asking or like forgetting to ask. And sure enough, my Lululemon leggings were in her dirty clothes. But that is not where it ends, because silly me thought, oh, she probably just borrowed them, forgot to ask, forgot to put them back, like no big deal, did not confront her about them. That is issue number one. I should have confronted her. Then fast forward to a couple weeks later, or a couple months later, actually. I think we were coming home from like another break like this. And we come back and I had just bought this brand new Gymshark set. Okay, brand new Gymshark set that I was like so excited about. I like saved up my money for it, was so excited. And I came back and the set was not in my closet. It was gone and had tags on it. And I was laying in bed that morning. I had like slept in, and my roommate walks in the dorm, and what is she wearing? My brand new Gymshark set, with her little Trader Joe's bags, walking in with her cute little Gymshark set that she stole from my closet. I kid you not, this girl literally shit her pants because she ran into our bathroom so quickly with her grocery bags and then proceeded to turn on the shower, acting like she was going to take a shower with her Trader Joe's grocery bags in the bathroom with her. Make it make sense. After that day, I put a lock on my closet, and her and I never spoke again, and we lived the last like 6 months in our dorm without ever saying a word to each other.
Bro, the way I would be so mad, like, that's actually insane. To steal someone's things is one thing. Now, when you steal your roommate's stuff, it's a whole other mess to untangle, because when there is a sense of trust and you break it and you're living with someone for the next 6 months, that's gonna mess the whole dynamics up. I can't imagine living with someone that I don't talk to. Like, that's just something that I cannot do. But I think it's so embarrassing how she just literally went to the washroom and locked herself in. I feel like the situation could have been salvaged if the roommate apologized. Maybe they wouldn't have been on the best terms, but they could have definitely been on speaking terms had she just taken accountability, but she didn't. And that's just caused them to be in a weird, like a really, really weird situation. So good on her for putting on the locks, but honestly, like, this is just a lost cause, man. Hopefully she found another roommate that she can actually trust. I don't know, man. I just hate to have to hide my own stuff around my own house. Okay, on to the next one. So this next story is about this girl who basically moved out of her ex-boyfriend's house to live with this girl that she thought she was going to be friends with. Lo and behold, this girl would start to figure out that the roommate that she was staying with was not who she said she was.
Freshman year of college, I had a roommate that was literally from hell. And I'm finally ready to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Freshman year of college, I had a different roommate fall semester and spring semester. And that is because I canceled my dorming lease to move in with my psycho ex-boyfriend, and then he ended up kicking me out of his house. So I had nowhere to live, so I moved into this girl's apartment. We're gonna call her Linda. I've known Linda for a while. We met through Facebook and we became really, really close. We hit it off really well, and she had a roommate move out of her dorm, and she had one of the nicer dorms, and she offered me to come stay with her in her dorm for the rest of the semester. So after hopping dorm to dorm for like 2 weeks, I moved in with her and we had a blast. I literally loved her. Like, I thought we were gonna be best friends forever. Also, keep in mind, her fall semester roommate had moved out because she was telling me how she thought she was crazy. Linda told me that she thought her roommate was crazy, but turns out it was Linda that was crazy. She told me she went through her roommate's like Apple Watch and her diary and just found out that she was like low-key a bitch, whatever, and just found out how her roommate ended up actually not liking her, and that's how she found out. And I was like, oh, you went through her stuff? Like, that's how you found out? But it never like registered in my mind. Like, that should have been my first red flag, that she literally went through her old roommates, all her personal belongings. So we get close really, really fast. It was so much fun being in this friendship. Like, it felt so new, and I finally felt like I found someone that like was really, really identical to me. But we had way too many things in common. Like, it was almost too good to be true. Like, we were literally the same exact person, except we weren't. Every day started becoming a competition. She never complimented me. I always complimented her. She would ask to borrow my clothes, and I would willingly like let her borrow my clothes, my hair stuff, everything, like everything. And if I asked her to borrow something, she'd be like, no. But I could never say no to her, or she would have a tantrum. As the days go by, I start realizing she's just like not really nice to me. Like, she's so mean to me. So when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend and he had, I came like rushing to our dorm after everything happened. She like locked me out, wouldn't let me in. She told me she was at work, and I told her what happened, and she was like, okay, like what? Like, she kind of was like believing me, not believing me. And she didn't care about me and if I was okay. The first thing she kept asking me was, did my ex-boyfriend go through our text messages, because she had been cheating on her boyfriend at the time. And I was the only one that knew. And the night that she started cheating on her boyfriend, she also told me and the other girl that we were out with, we had gone to this club. She told us that for the first time, she's finally hanging around with girls that are like on her level. And she said that like girls in her high school were like nothing compared to her, and like she was just like so much better than them. Like, and that's when I started to realize something was really off with her. And everyone that was friends with her in the past that told me not to be friends with her, people that have gone to high school that go to college with me, were telling me like, be careful of her, she's insane. And I had her back the entire time. Like, I literally fully supported her, defended her. I was her biggest hype man. I was such a good person to her. And every time someone would say something bad about her, I'd be like, no, like, she's so awesome. Like, you just don't know her the way I know her. That was my downfall. I never saw right through her. This gave me so many red flags. Later in the spring semester, we get into a feud because I thought Jacob Elordi was hot, and so did she, and she thought I was copying her. So she kicks me out of the dorm.
If that's not the story of a narcissistic, self-centered woman, then I don't know what is. And did she say that her roommate was cheating on her boyfriend? Like, what? There are so many layers to this story that I just can't, like, get over. Like, the irony is so incredible. How are you gonna be mad at someone for copying you when you've been trying to copy her this whole time? Why aren't you concerned about your crying roommate outside of the door? Like, is so many things wrong with her that I can't even begin to list in this video. All I gotta say is that this poor girl has been through hell and back, and I hope that she gets the justice she deserves. I hope that she's genuinely in a happier place in life. Okay, so this next one is about this girl that was living with this woman that was 20 years her senior. Yes, 20 years older than her. And yet she was still acting like a middle schooler. So let's see how that unravels.
Okay, I just have to tell y'all about my crazy roommate because this is ridiculous. So I live in student style apartment, meaning you rent the room and then you share a living space with like 2-3 other people. And I share with 3 other people, and I've done this before and it worked out fabulous. Loved my previous roommates. But y'all, one of my roommates is 40 years older than the rest of us. And I'm 22. And she's insane. Like, I'm trying to put into words how insane she is, and I genuinely cannot. So let me just explain to you some of the things that she's done in the month that I've lived here. So, when I first moved in, she was using over half of the kitchen and forced the other 3 of us to share under half of the kitchen. Since then, she's moved all of her stuff into her room, saying that we're bullying her. She's complained to the leasing office that we have drugs in our apartment, that we're threatening her, and that she's afraid for her life. And, yeah. But literally the only thing we've done, and I promise you it's the only thing that we have done, is we have changed the temperature in the thermostat because she is determined to keep it under 65. We're freaking popsicles. So we change it to 70 because we're frozen in our apartment. Literally, one of my roommates was hospitalized because of it. Because she has, like, other medical conditions that I'm not going to talk about because, like, that's her stuff. But, yeah, so... And when we tried to communicate with her, she's blocked us. We can't knock on her door. Heaven forbid we knock on her door because she loses her mind and starts screaming and throwing an absolute fit at us for knocking on her door. We've tried to have a roommate meeting with her and she refused to come. Also, she uses half of the pantry. She's taken all of her stuff from the kitchen because she's convinced that we're using it and we're stealing it. Like, there's so much. And like, we can't communicate with her because she acts like a petty middle schooler even though she's 40 years older than us. Even the leasing office is, like, tired of her, and she's constantly going down there, constantly complaining to them. Therefore, we have to go down to, like, fix the situation, and no one is happy! But she is because she's torturing us.
Where do we even begin here? First of all, I have to correct myself because I misheard and I thought it was 20 years senior. Why is this woman 40 years someone's senior living with them? Like, how is that possible? Like, at a certain point in life, I feel like you should be at a point where you're not living with roommates anymore. I mean, she gotta be at least 60, man. What happened? And normally, you know, I don't really judge people No one knows the circumstance that she had to be put in to be able to be living with roommates again. But I'm judging heavily for the fact that she's acting like she's not her age. Like, I'ma judge you if you're genuinely just a crappy person in general to live with. And the fact that she's giving these people trouble at her grown age is crazy. Like, you're really telling me that this woman that is old enough to be my grandma's friend is acting like this? Someone needs to get sent to the nursery home because this is seriously unacceptable. Imagine getting on your high horse and boosting your ego out of the fact that you're tormenting literal kids. In your eyes, they could be literal kids. What an insufferable person to live around. That truly sounds horrendous. I truly hope that this older woman comes to resolve whatever's going on inside her head, because obviously there's deeper lying issues that could explain why she's acting this way at her age. And I just hope that she finds peace in life, man. Them issues you were complaining about weren't even that deep. It's petty. But free my homegirl over here, bro. It looks like she's been through a lot. So this last story is about how this girl's roommate basically crashed out on her birthday over a stool. Yes, you heard that right. A stool.
She busted in my closed door room on my birthday with my friends over, screaming at me that I was a dumb to go to hell over a stool. Get ready with me while I tell you one of my favorite nightmare roommate stories. So this was on my 22nd birthday. Keep in mind, it was my first birthday in LA, so I was already a little nervous. And if you know my story, I had been pretty sick for the last about 5 years of my birthday. So this was the first year in years where I felt like I was healthy and can finally have a fun birthday, okay? So believe it or not, I am very unconfrontational, which I know might sound surprising if you only know me from here, but I am. I hate to argue, I hate drama. We're gonna call her Samantha, that's not her name. This is important because 2 words to describe her would be confrontational and drama. Since the day I moved in, I kind of knew that our personalities clashed. I just never imagined to the point that it ended up getting to. It gets to August 26th, which is 2 days before my birthday, which is when my birthday party was. Mind you, this kind of turned into like a work thing because a brand sponsored it. They like rented out this huge crazy mansion. It was one of the coolest things still to this day to ever happen to me. It was important to me. This is where it all starts. My friends are at this birthday party, people I don't even know, photographers, etc. Someone ends up mentioning to her that Kendall is just browsing around at apartments. Did not say that I was moving out, gonna catch her off guard, nothing of the sort. For some reason, this sends her into a dimension of like rage and just full-on psychosis, and she leaves my birthday party with all of the staff from this company and watching her like scream cry as she's leaving because someone mentioned that I was looking at apartments. I feel like that's normal. And then we got into an entire text battle argument that night that was insane. I'm talking paragraphs, I'm not exaggerating, this fucking long. And so it was my birthday weekend. I was out the whole time. I was trying to have fun. I remember breaking down, having like a mini mental breakdown because I hate arguing with people so much and I thought the whole thing was so stupid. Anyways, went home the next day, went out again. This is now the 27th, and in my old apartment, we had a kitchen island with like 2 or 3 stools on it. And the night of the 27th, whenever I went out with my friends, we were obviously drinking. I accidentally forgot to put it back. Keep in mind, we had 3 roommates, but one of them wasn't there at the time. So there was really only need for 1 bar stool to be here. I did the 27th, I go out with my friends. I wake up on my birthday, the 28th, hung over to like horrendous. One of the most like worst hangovers I've ever had in my entire life. And I woke up to her busting in my closed doored room, screaming at me, Erica, where's my stool? Where the f is my stool? She was the only one home and there was one left out there. It was giving Tana Mojo in the worst way possible. Their details is that I had 2 friends staying with me, one being my gay best friend Clay, and the other one being my girl best friend Lainey, who had flown across the country from Georgia to be there for my birthday, who both witnessed all of this, okay? Me and Lainey are just laying in my bed, hungover as confused as. And not only did Samantha decide to open my closed bedroom door, she proceeds to go into my bathroom, which was connected to my room at the time. And keep in mind, I had a glass shower, okay? You remember how I said I had a gay best friend? You wanna know what he was doing at the time? Taking a shower. Wanna take a guess where the bar stool was? In my bathroom. She also decides to bust into my bathroom, and so now she's looking at my gay best friend's privulas. He's like, ah! Everyone's like, ah! I'm like, are we about to fight, like, for real, over a bar stool that you don't even need? And it was my birthday. I think that's what pisses me off the most. As you can imagine, this starts the biggest fight ever, but my personal thing that I think is the craziest thing about this, I continued to live there for 7 months after. You want to talk about uncomfortable? I couldn't afford to live anywhere else. He threw keys at my head one time, too. I almost called the cops for that, for sure. I moved in there March, 13th, and then I didn't move out until the very next, March 9th. It was almost on the dot. I don't know how I did it. And I had 2 roommates at the time, mind you. I would have a new 3rd roommate every about 4 months. So they were lasting on average 3 to 4 months. And then Samantha always would blame it on them. I'm like, babe, common denominator, who the is the problem here? That's just one out of probably 20 insane stories that I had living in that apartment specifically. Let me know if you want more. Love you. Bye.
If there's one thing I can say is that that roommate of hers is definitely jealous. No, I think that she got really butthurt when her roommate started looking for other places, and that's what kind of set her off. But the whole stool thing is total, like, let's be for real, it's total bullcrap. Like, that's definitely made up. No one actually believes she was upset about the stool, right? Like, girl, don't play in people's faces like this. We know damn well you were just jealous. People hate to see anyone happy these days. Like, she was just salty. But to ruin someone's birthday over something so small is the pettiest thing I've ever seen. Throughout the whole story, all you hear is the roommate trying to ruin the birthday. Like, always finding instances where she can come in and be like a nuisance, you know? Make things about herself when it's literally the girl's birthday. Let her celebrate this, man. What the heck? May these types of roommates never find me. But anyways, guys, that was the end of my little commentary TikTok storytime video today. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to subscribe and let me know if you'd like to see more of this in the future. Also, feel free to comment down your opinions on the different stories I had to share with you today. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching once again. This is Kittens Collection signing out.